Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much breaking news going on right now. We had to go back and do an extra live today. We will keep you informed. We will continue to push the boundaries of what is possible for breaking news. Now, we must report that articles of impeachment have been filed against Merrick Garland. That has been filed in the House of Representatives, where impeachment articles must originate, filed by multiple members of Congress, Republicans. Marjorie Taylor Greene leading the charge here. She may even be joining us in the broadcast. ALX, Nick asked to see if you could reach out to him and see if she could join on the broadcast. Marjorie Taylor Greene has filed articles of impeachment for Merrick Garland. Multiple pieces of breaking news happening concurrently. They are trying to indict Trump. They released the warrants against Donald Trump. The full warrant has been released. We will read it to you. You will see that the FBI and Merrick Garland went up on television and lied to your face yesterday. That is why he deserves to be impeached. He lied. He said it was a narrow scope warrant. It wasn't. It said smash and grab everything, including Melania Trump's unmentionables and anything under the sun. They lied to you. They're attempting to do this for January 6th. We have the experts on, Jonathan Turley, Dan Bongino, multiple federal agents saying this is a politicized FBI. It is an American Gestapo. More breaking news. There are leaks that are saying that Joe Biden is personally pushing for the indictment of Donald Trump. Joe Biden is personally navigating this and is demanding that the DOJ bring forth charges, because then it will look like they had something. This is right now looking like a political witch hunt. It is looking like it's playing directly into Donald Trump's hands. They look at the polls, these people. They are erratic. They know nothing. They have no souls. They only look at polls. No souls, only polls. They look at the polls and they realize that the American public has utterly turned on them on this. Everyone's turned on them. Even their own Democrat Party has turned on them. So they better indict Trump. And we have breaking news right now from a number of outlets that they are trying to work on indicting Trump for, and you're not going to believe this, this is going to make your jaw hit the floor. I hope you're sitting down. I hope you're not driving. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to go after him for the Espionage Act. They're going to go after him because he took classified information. That's right. The same thing that they exonerated Hillary Clinton for, they're going to try and go after Trump. Let's start with our breaking news. Marjorie Taylor Greene out in front of the Capitol announcing her articles of impeachment for Merrick Garland. This is going to pick up steam, ladies and gentlemen. Take it to the bank. Watch this.
What they've been doing to President Trump is political persecution. Merrick Garland has abused his position of power as the Attorney General to politically persecute Joe Biden's enemies. And the whole purpose of this is to prevent President Trump from ever being able to hold office. So I'm on my way in the Capitol right now, and I'm introducing articles of impeachment on Merrick Garland, because we cannot tolerate this in America, where our great institutions are welded and abused in such a way to defeat people's political enemies. That's not what this is for, and it should never exist.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the phone with Marjorie Taylor Greene's office right now. We are going to have Marjorie Taylor Greene join the broadcast if she is able. We are working on it right now, and if she is able, we will bring her on and she can explain her articles of impeachment. The articles of impeachment are... Hold on. Let's grab them. They are, they were dropped. ALX, can you drop into our producer chat? ALX will grab the articles of impeachment. I will read them for you. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are. Okay. Articles of impeachment. We got them right here. Here's the resolution. It is relatively long, but it says that impeachment of Merrick Brian Garland, Attorney General of the United States, for endangering, compromising, and undermining the justice system of the United States by facilitating the persecution of President Joseph R. Biden Jr.'s political rival, Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. It is introduced by Miss Greene of Georgia. Got it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, there they are. Articles of impeachment for Merrick Garland. What will happen next? we have the warrant unsealed for Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago. A couple things from this warrant that stand out. One, this warrant is supposed to be for some super highly classified, extremely important documents that the government just had to get back. What's really crazy is that they never subpoenaed the documents. They never asked Trump to give back the documents. In fact, the judge gave them 3 weeks to execute the warrant, which doesn't seem extremely time sensitive. And also, what's most important is we now know that the FBI said that they were able to take 11 classified documents from this stash. And now the leaks are saying that they're going to try and prosecute Donald Trump vis-a-vis the Espionage Act. Remember, the same act that James Comey said that Hillary Clinton could be and should be prosecuted by, but he just wouldn't do it. He just can't do it. He just can't in any good conscience do it. You want to know why? Because okay, we're 80 days away from the midterm elections, and look what they're doing to Donald Trump, the leader of the Republican Party and the presumptive 2024 nominee and president. Man, and if it keeps going this way, listen to what Mark Levin had to say when he heard this news on Fox. The man went ballistic. We're huge fans of Mark Levin. Go.
It says that Donald Trump is under investigation for potential obstruction of justice and violations of the Espionage Act. Now, you may say, you know, that's just the latest leak, and maybe that's what it is, and maybe it's to color this in a certain way. But what's your reaction if those are the charges potentially that are being discussed here?
Well, it would be the Espionage Act if that's how far they want to go. But then if that's what they want to do, I want to know if any former Attorney General of the United States has taken anything home, because that act is very broad, Martha. Let me be very clear about this. It doesn't just apply to former presidents who might take classified information with them. It applies to a current Attorney General who might take classified information home that he's not supposed to bring home. It applies to individuals who might be reading classified information on airplanes where they're not supposed to be reading it on airplanes. Mm-hmm. It applies to Obama. It's funny, the National Archives comes out and says, we went through those 30 million, whatever they were, documents and pages, and there was nothing classified in it. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen a bureaucracy act that efficiently and that quickly? They went through 30 million pages and they found nothing classified.
Oh, my gosh.
And by the way, you'd have to make the jail in Washington, D.C. 100 times bigger to lock up all these former officials, all these current officials and members of Congress. So I don't want to hear that they're thinking of the Espionage Act, and they'd have to drag Hillary back, too, although I think the statute of limitations is run on her.
Mark, thank you very much. We look forward to hearing from you throughout the afternoon and evening as this story unfolds. Mark Levin, wonderful to have you here. Thank you.
Mark Levin, of course, was the chief of staff for the Attorney General under Ronald Reagan. Mark Levin has put enough people in jail. He's run enough government classified documents, enough government prosecutions to know exactly what's happening. He said the jail will have to be 100 times bigger in Washington, D.C. if you're going to start prosecuting people the way they're trying to prosecute Donald Trump. Jonathan Turley is one of the greatest minds of our time, one of the greatest legal minds of our time. He is not, and I will tell you this because I know the guy personally, he's not a Republican. He is not on the side of Donald Trump, okay? He is simply a legal-minded scholar. He worked at Georgetown. He's one of the best, again, legal clarity minds of our time. Jonathan Turley was on Fox News saying just exactly this, saying that this is impossible to bring against Donald Trump because the case isn't possible in these regards. Go ahead and check it out. Turley, clip 3.
But, you know, this is obviously kryptonite for the Biden administration because of the optics that we have discussed. But they need to come forward, I'm talking about the Justice Department, and really show an airtight and undeniable case presented in front of that magistrate. Anything that is short of that is going to fulfill the narrative of critics of the Justice Department. This could not be more serious, not just for Donald Trump, but as I said, for the justice system itself. And Merrick Garland seems to be absent without leave on this. I was surprised by his statement yesterday. He talked about one aspect outside of the documents with regard to his approval. He didn't swat down the suggestions this could be a pretext for January 6th. He didn't address some of these other sort of procedural or scheduling issues. Now, he is someone who is known not to be inclined to reveal information, but he's the Attorney General of the United States who just ordered a raid on the former president's home and the very likely opponent of the current president. There is no way you could reproduce that in any past historical event. He's really in unknown territory, and he has to do better than to simply say, trust us, we're the government.
Yeah, he has to do better than to say, trust us, we are the government. Merrick Garland in hot water. He had already said that, hey, this was a narrow scope raid. And he sent out his little apparatchiks and deputies to leak to the media that he didn't sign off on the raid. You remember this Newsweek story. We'll remember it forever, just 2 days ago. And now the heat was turned up high enough that he had to come out weeping, crying, shaking, whimpering, and say, yes, I actually signed off on this. Well, somebody who may turn the heat up a little bit higher joins us now. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman from Georgia, just dropped the impeachment articles against Merrick Garland, the first of its kind in Congress. Marjorie, can you please tell the audience exactly why you did this and upon what grounds?
Well, thank you, Benny. I really appreciate you having me on. I just introduced articles of impeachment on Merrick Garland literally just minutes ago as I went in on this last vote today. And the reason why I did that is because the American people are outraged. You know, I've been calling this a two-tier justice system, but I think the reality that we've all come to realize is it's not a two-tier justice system. It's a one-way street where Merrick Garland, the Democrats, and anyone in charge of powerful positions right now are abusing their power and persecuting their political enemies. And what Merrick Garland has done is unprecedented. It's unconstitutional, and he is truly abusing the power of the Department of Justice as Attorney General. And the whole goal that he has in mind is he's doing the bidding of Joe Biden and any Democrat that would be a presidential nominee for the Democrat Party in 2024. And their main purpose, Benny, is to stop President Trump, the 45th president of the United States, from being able to hold office again, because they know what we all know. They know that the American people are going to re-elect Donald J. Trump.
Do you have co-signers with this? Do you think that your motion will gain traction in the House?
Yes, in a matter of minutes, I've got 3, and we're going to continue adding more because this is something our Republican conference is so angry. So yeah, 3 jumped on right away: Andy Harris, Clay Higgins, Mary Miller, and we're talking to some more people about it. So this is something that is exciting. And you saw what happened to Congressman Scott Perry. I'm looking forward to talking to him as well. We cannot allow this type of abuse to happen. This is what happens in communist countries, Benny. And you know, because Benny, you talk to so many people just all over America. People are always chiming in and reaching out to you. You know how angry people are about this. They are furious. Not just Republican voters, not just Trump voters. Independents are switching parties so fast. Oh, they just let me know I have another co-sponsor. I believe it's Andy Biggs has jumped on. Yes. So this is building because we're done. We are absolutely done with the Democrats abusing their power, and they're really attacking the American people, and the American people are not going to tolerate it.
The comment section right now is melting down. We have 20,000 people watching. They are so excited. They're cheering for you. And what they want, I think, is to see the dial moved. Do you believe that you will be able to bring on enough Republicans, because it's a large caucus and it's about to get much, much bigger, 60, 70 new members of Congress? Will you be able to convince them to vote to impeach?
Well, I'm certainly going to give it my best try because, you know, the one thing that's different about me and a few others here is we're really just regular people. We're representatives, but we're very normal people. We're not politicians. And so what I brought with me here, Benny, is that same attitude and that same thought process. And so what I truly hope is when people see me doing this type of work and just pushing as hard as I can on issues like this, impeaching Merrick Garland, I hope people really realize that I'm trying to do exactly what I think they would do if they were here in my same position, because that's my greatest responsibility. Secondly, in the 118th Congress, Benny, I think we're going to see a total different change in our conference. We have some amazing candidates that are running for Congress right now that are very likely going to win their general elections, and I am so excited for them. People like Bo Hines, I cannot wait till he gets here. People like Anna Luna Paulina, hopefully Anthony Sabatini, and many others. I'm excited for them to join our ranks because I know they're going to fight. Joe Kent, who just won his race, we're just thrilled. We're thrilled for these people. We cannot wait for them to get here because I know that they're going to be lining up and saying, yes, this is what the people want, and they're going to be really ready and excited and willing to do the work to make this happen.
If you want to support Marjorie Taylor Greene, she has a new line of, I believe, merchandise out through your store, the Defund the FBI line. Have I been seeing this correctly?
Yes, that is available on my website. So yes, you guys can promote that for me. I would really appreciate it.
What will you be doing when you're in the majority to ensure that there is accountability brought?
Well, I'm very excited, Benny. You know, I got kicked off of committees early on when I first became a member of Congress, and they stripped away my district's representation on committees. And that was Nancy Pelosi. That was Nancy Pelosi that did that because she realized right off the bat exactly who I am. I introduced articles of impeachment on Joe Biden on his inauguration day, and that was based on Hunter Biden's dirty business deals in foreign countries. And it was within 10 days they kicked me off committees. But I'm very excited to let you know that leadership here in our Republican conference, they're excited to put me back on committees in January when we take back the House, and I'm looking very hard at the Oversight Committee.
The only reason they took you off the committees is because they couldn't handle the questions. You think Jim Jordan, ladies and gentlemen watching, if you think Jim Jordan's good at asking a question and at grilling a witness, you haven't seen Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ladies and gentlemen, please, you are in for a show when Marjorie Taylor Greene gets that gavel. What would you ask Merrick Garland when you drag him in? Merrick Garland will be before you. Congresswoman, what will you be asking him?
Well, I'll be asking Merrick Garland, did he think very hard about the decisions he was making and the possibility and repercussions that he will be facing for his abuse of power? Because being impeached does not help his job career later on down the road. And we're going to very much make sure that he's unemployed and not allowed to ever work in the federal government again.
You're very close with Donald Trump. Have you called him? Have you talked with him?
I've spoke with him the other day. I spoke with him the morning after the raid happened, spoken with some of his attorneys, but I'll definitely give him a call this evening and let him know what I've done.
Final word of encouragement. It's our Friday show. This is an optimistic show. Can you encourage those who are watching? People who watch this show want to be uplifted. They're not doomers. They don't take the black pill. They want to be uplifted. They care about America. Can you give us some encouragement to go into the weekend?
Yes, absolutely. Here's something that you all don't know happened today. So they just passed that terrible bill, and I'm going to start with something bad. They passed that terrible bill, the so-called Reduce Inflation Act that creates the 87,000 IRS Army, the one that basically passes the Green New Deal. It's a horrible bill. But I've got a couple of good things to let you know about, Benny, and everybody that's watching. We had a real effort happen in the GOP conference today that I've never seen happen before. And I'm excited to tell you about it because it was a combined effort with House Freedom Caucus and Kevin McCarthy and also Steve Scalise. We all came together and worked very hard on a plan to try to prevent a quorum from being held for that vote today. Now, we didn't quite achieve the numbers that we wanted, but I want to tell you what's really exciting about it is this is the first time that I saw these groups come together and was a part of that process and very much a part of the meetings and helping it happen. But I'm excited because leadership was on board with what we wanted to do. And that's so important. And they were fighting with us every bit as hard as we were. And
wow.
just want you to know, Benny, I have a lot of hope for a 118th Republican-held majority, where not only do you have Freedom Caucus working really hard, but we have leadership on board with us. And that gave me so much hope today. And I know people have sometimes had negative things to say, but for me, I really want to have that kind of Republican conference, because I believe if we can achieve that, then we can really do the work that needs to happen for the American people. So I want to end on that positive note for everyone. And then I'll tell you one more thing. That horrible bill that just passed, let me tell you what can happen. When Republicans control the purse strings and we're controlling the budget, we can defund every single part of it. So don't be afraid yet of 87,000 IRS on you, Benny, because you know what we're going to do. You know we're going to cross that one out of the budget. So IRS with their job postings and listings, guess what? Don't sign up for that job, because there's not going to be a paycheck there when Republicans get in charge.
I know your time is so incredibly precious and valuable, Congresswoman. Can you please say you're fired preemptively to the IRS agents?
Oh, yeah. 87,000 IRS agents. You're fired.
Thank you. God bless you, Congresswoman. The 20,000 Americans watching right now live, they all say God bless you as well. And we so appreciate you. Godspeed. What's the best place for them to follow along with what you're doing? Please shout out your handles.
Yeah, they can find me on any of my social media, MTG. Just make sure it's a verified account and not some crazy account. On my website, mtgforamerica.com. Benny, thank you so much for spreading the word on all of this. And thank you to everyone watching. You all are the whole reason why I do this and the whole reason why Benny does it. Everybody here is fantastic. So you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. God bless you. Godspeed. The woman leading the one-woman wrecking army against Merrick Garland just joined us live. Marjorie Taylor Greene. There, she just dropped impeachment articles against Merrick Garland. They are thoughtful. We read through them. They are spectacular. She says that it's for political persecution of Joe Biden's potential adversary in 2024. Not running mate. I don't think they'd run together, although that would be a great comedy special. I would certainly watch it if it were a sitcom. Joe Biden and Donald Trump living in the same house. I don't think it would last very long. Ladies and gentlemen, Marjorie Taylor Greene hit the nail on the head. This is a political persecution against Donald Trump. They're trying to get him to jail. For one, are you prepared to see Donald Trump in handcuffs? That's what they want. If you haven't gotten your head in that brain space yet, that's where they're going. Be ready, ladies and gentlemen. That's where they want to go. They want to put Donald Trump into handcuffs. And there's only one way to prevent that right now. One way. It is to make sure that you vote, that you run for office, and that you are tied in, that you are wired in, that you're tuned in to programs like this, and War Room, and Charlie Kirk, and Tucker Carlson, and a lot of other awesome channels. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we build a movement. This is how we stay informed, and this is how we break through the noise. It is so incredibly and important right now for us to remain united. They're going to try and break Trump. They're going to try and bring the Espionage Act, apparently, against him. One of our friends and one of our favorite commentators, Dan Bongino, was just live seconds ago, and he had this to say. Now, Dan Bongino is speaking from a place of authority. He was a federal agent. He was a member of the Secret Service. He did protect presidents. He's very familiar with classified documents. He himself is classified documents. And he just blew a gigantic, crater-sized hole into the Democrats' proposition that Donald Trump, we're going to put him in jail because he took a classified document. Check this out from Bongino.
They available to look at? I don't know.
Right. I mean, there's a number of issues, and you just brought up one of them, which is the president is the ultimate authority when he was the president on what's classified and what's not. Yes, there is a procedure. But let's just be clear, this is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this in American history. So if you're going to have a reason to break precedent and go after your political opponent in the past and potentially in the future, you better damn well produce some cookies. You better not produce. I've done these, by the way, many of these. Was a federal agent for over 12 years. I've done warrant returns. We weren't so fancy as the FBI. We wrote it out in hand. But I'm looking at this here and I'm wondering, okay, so you're about to burn down the constitutional republic like this loser in the Attorney General office is. So what's he producing here? The Russian nuclear codes? Don't see that. The United States nuclear code, don't see that either. What is he producing? Is it the file on where Amelia Earhart? I don't see any of that. Matter of fact, all I see is, yes, there may be some classified documents. I say maybe because we don't know if they were declassified or not. And I say, okay, if that's the case, he had something he shouldn't have had. There's a process for that, the same process we've done with every other president. So Merrick Garland wants to burn the republic down, infuriate probably 100 million plus Americans over leather-bound boxes of documents. What is this, Anchorman? He has a collection of leather-bound books and fine colognes? This is what we're burning the country down? Oh, why are you laughing? That's funny. I'm not a comedian. I should have done your show today. This is it. You're going to burn the country down over what? Over this? You better produce something, and they haven't produced anything.
One of the things on the list, Greg, is like a box of documents.
Yeah.
They have not produced anything because the people who were in charge of classifying those documents, namely Kash Patel. Kash Patel was essentially in charge of the Department of Defense under Donald Trump. He had moved inside of various intel agencies. He is one of the closest Trump deputies and remains so to this day. He's a friend of the program. He's been on the program many times, and he is the #1 way that you can cut through the BS and can get directly to the point of what's happening. And Kash Patel absolutely obliterated this article, this total hoax, once and for all. They're going to try and get Trump on classified documents. Listen to Bongino. Bongino's good, but Bongino did not work for Donald Trump. Here's a man who worked for Donald Trump, who literally handled Trump's classified documents for him, going off on how this is all a hoax. Listen to Kash Patel. Check it out.
So there's a distinction between national security and criminal cases, and in this instance, it seems to be from the public reporting and the Attorney General's conduct that this is going on pursuant to a national security investigation, which takes it out of the criminal division and into the national security division where I used to work. And the receipts that are now becoming publicly available show vague descriptions of things because the government is likely going to come in and say some of the stuff was classified, but it doesn't seem to be the case when Donald Trump issued sweeping declassification orders on multiple occasions, both as president on multiple times. So that's going to be a distinction that we need to watch for, and it's incumbent upon the government, the DOJ, to tell us what happened.
Okay.
The power to classify emanates from the president. There is nothing declassified, there is nothing classified or top secret that the president cannot put eyes on. The president is the head of state. The president is the chief executive. The chief executive. So when the president declassifies something, that is simply an act of him saying it is declassified. Donald Trump declassified all documents pursuant to Russiagate. Donald Trump declassified all documents pursuant to Spygate. Donald Trump declassified the documents having to do with the hoax against him. They didn't like it, but he did it. And they're furious, and now they are seeking revenge. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. The people who are inside of these agencies, and these agencies are massive. Do you know that the FBI's budget, for instance, this year is $10 billion? $10 billion. These people and these agencies, the people inside of them that remained and that liked them being independent, non-political agencies that simply followed the rule of the law and then followed the orders of the executive and were independent, these people are starting to break. And one of them, a former federal prosecutor, went on Jesse Waters' show last night. Jesse Kelly, also a great dude, but Jesse Waters' show last night, and said, I don't recognize this DOJ anymore. This place is burning to the ground. And you're going to see a lot more of this. They're not going to win this argument. This is weak gruel. This is a political persecution by Joe Biden, and everyone knows it, including former members of the FAA. So just to wrap up here, before we play this clip, we've had Dan Bongino, we've had Kash Patel, we've had Mark Levin, all of them working inside of either the Justice Department, the DOD, or the Secret Service, all of those guys. Now we have an actual former DOJ prosecutor who does not have a political role and is not a pundit, who is coming out, putting his entire career and life on the line, saying Merrick Garland is burning the DOJ to the ground and deserves to be impeached. Listen to this man.
The FBI was highly agitated when decisions like this came along, and everybody had a voice. And fortunately, we worked at a time when people listened to each other. That's not happening now. And I've never said this publicly, but I'll just tell you right now, because it just sickens me to watch and listen to Merrick Garland. Because Merrick Garland was in charge of the prosecution at DOJ of the Unabomber. And I have to tell you something. He would not recommend to the AG that our search warrant to get into Theodore Kaczynski's cabin be approved. He and his group of attorneys had us working till 2 or 3 in the morning of April 3rd. And finally, the AG, Janet Reno, along with Louis Freeh, they stepped in. They approved the search warrant anyway. Now, that was a case where we had bombs on airplanes. We had threats to blow up airplanes in midair. We had people killed with bombs for 18 years. He wouldn't do anything. He would not recommend to the AG that we get into that cabin on April 3rd. He didn't see the urgency there.
So here's this guy, here's this former FBI agent there saying that Attorney General Merrick Garland is not allowing his team to go after the Unabomber. Merrick Garland was holding back search warrants for a cabin in the middle of nowhere with no electricity, no indoor plumbing. They couldn't go in and stop the Unabomber, yet they're able to go in and get Trump. And how are they able to go in and get Trump? Oh, the Espionage Act. And oh, what's the Espionage Act? Oh, that's when you take classified material and then you destroy it, or you take it away from the government and you mishandle it and you misuse it. Remind you of anyone? Remind you of anyone who actually physically smashed their BlackBerries with hammers? They took hammers and smashed the BlackBerries on Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton never got an email that wasn't on her private server, including emails from the President of the United States. You can go through Hillary's leaked emails and you can find Barack Obama's private email on there and their private communications. It's all available. Check it out. It was like the first Hunter Biden laptop. I know it's not in fashion anymore, but this is what James Comey did to Hillary Clinton. You may recall for the exact, not even close to the exact same thing, for so much worse. And by the way, we have no idea about these documents. Kash Patel tells us these documents are not classified. Check out James Comey.
Finally, with respect to our recommendation to the Department of Justice, in our system, the prosecutors make the decisions about whether charges are appropriate based on evidence that the FBI helps collect. Although we don't normally make public our recommendations to the prosecutors, we frequently make recommendations and engage in productive conversations with prosecutors about what resolution may be appropriate given the evidence. In this case, given the importance of the matter, I think unusual transparency is in order. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Prosecutors necessarily weigh a number of factors before deciding whether to bring charges. There are obvious considerations like the strength of the evidence, especially regarding intent. Responsible decisions also consider the context of a person's actions and how similar situations have been handled in the past.
So, James Comey is sitting there saying that a woman who had a private server set up while she was Secretary of State, not the president, she was Secretary of State. She had no right to classify or declassify. She never followed the government's rules, never, not once. She had no right. Not a single email was sent through the proper channels. Everything Hillary Clinton did was illegal. Everything her staff did was illegal. Everyone who communicated with her was illegal. And James Comey said in that statement that they knew that she was doing this and that nefarious foreign actors accessed classified government information. She was the Secretary of damn State. And Hillary Clinton got let off. You want to know why? Because they said it was too close to an election. Not only that, but because of the leftist world order, who runs these kind of things, two-tiered systems. Hillary's up here, Joe Biden's up here, Hunter Biden's up here, Merrick Garland's up here, Donald Trump, you, me, the deplorables, all the rest of us, we're down here. It's not hypocrisy. It's hierarchy. And so, just to show you, ladies and gentlemen, what we are up against, I give you my favorite clip of the week. A lib, hysterical lib, foaming at the mouth in front of Trump Tower in New York, being asked, should Donald Trump go to jail? And exactly why. This is what we're up against, ladies and gentlemen. Take it away.
Is this unprecedented to arrest a former president for not turning in documents?
A former president that had committed this many provable criminal acts.
But what are the provable criminal acts, I guess?
Provable criminal acts. Well, I'm done talking.
Is this?
I'm done talking to you. Just say, I'm done talking to you. What are the provable criminal acts? Hey, pal, what are the provable criminal acts? I'm done talking to you. Yeah. It's amazing. Amazing. This is what we're up against. What they attempted to do here with Donald Trump is they attempted to go on a fishing expedition. If you read the papers, and we encourage you to head on over to Human Events, our friend Jack Posobiec has all the documentations of the warrants. If you read them, the warrants say, we are here to take any presidential document from the day Trump took office to the last day he took office. All 4 of those years, we will take everything. So they took everything. They took it all from the first day to the day. This is not narrow in scope. Merrick Garland lied. Merrick Garland also lied and tried to hide the fact that he signed off on this warrant. There are 2 lies. Now, there are 3 lies because they said that Trump had the nuclear codes. That was a lie. All of this is simply soy to throw out there to their soy boy base. It's gray soy to try and keep them slurping. You're trying to placate the left, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, Andrew Cuomo, and a bunch of others on the left, Meghan McCain, saying you just handed Trump 2024 on a silver platter. And now they're going to have to go, and they're going to have to try and justify why they did this, because they've lost the American people. They already had lost the American people, and they've lost them even more. So they're going to have to try and lie, and they're going to have to try and justify this. Now, we know from internal reporting at the New York Times that Joe Biden is pressuring Merrick Garland to bring charges against Trump. So they're going to have to make up something. They're going to have to figure out something. They had to find something. Look at the greater overall play. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll end with this. The reason why Merrick Garland's doing this is because he is a weak man. He's a feeble, mortally wounded animal who has been backed into a corner. He's not in charge. He is a pawn, and he is doing what he's been told by Barack Obama, who's actually running the operation, Susan Rice and Ron Klain. They backed everyone into a corner. They backed him. He's simply an apparatchik. Joe Biden doesn't know anything. These guys don't do anything. They're just doing the bidding. He's scared. He's weak. He's shaking. He's frail. You can hear his voice cracking. You can see his hands shaking. You can watch him pee his pants on national television. It's an act of fear, not an act of strength. This is an act of weakness, not an act of confidence. These people are running scared, and the American people can sniff it out. We smoked them out once this week. What they're going to try and do to Donald Trump is political persecution. They're too scared. They have nothing. They don't have anything to run on. They have nothing. Nothing. So they're going to try and persecute Donald Trump, as they always have. And what it is incumbent upon us as the American people to do is to reject them and to do the thing that scares them the very most, which is not to do a rally outside the FBI. That's a trap. That's a glowy trap. Those are the feds, okay? Not to call for violence. We would never do that. No, 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 no. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something much worse, much scarier to the regime. We're going to organize. We're going to vote. We're going to walk neighborhoods. We're going to knock doors. We're going to run for office. And we're going to bring in the kind of people that will vote with Marjorie Taylor Greene for her articles of impeachment. How awesome was that? Marjorie Taylor Greene literally walked off the steps of the Capitol building on live television. We're sitting there watching her on live television, walked off the steps of the Capitol building into our show. That's what we're doing here at The Benny Show. We're bringing them to you, ladies and gentlemen. We're bringing you, the people, the movers and shakers of this movement, because it is a movement of all of us. And it's us versus them, and it's the only way we win. And the beautiful thing is that we are 80% of the country. We're God-fearing, family people. We love this place a lot, and we ain't about to let it go to the communists. We're not going to do it. Donald Trump said, they're after you. I'm just standing in the way. Couldn't agree with him more. So now it is time to have re-upped energy to get out, ladies and gentlemen, to vote, to support Donald Trump, to support this party, to support Ron DeSantis, J.D. Vance. I'm going to be in Ohio next week. Next Friday, I will be in Ohio, Youngstown. Ladies and gentlemen, Benny's going to go there. I will be there with Ron DeSantis. I will be there on stage with J.D. Vance, Ron DeSantis. Come out and see it. If you're in Ohio, come see us. I want to meet you. I want to say hi. And I want to give you and preach the good word. I'll be joined by Governor DeSantis. Again, can't say it enough. This is a movement, ladies and gentlemen. And we all have a common purpose. It's the best thing ever, to rid America of the commies. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the highest purpose you can possibly have. Marjorie Taylor Greene joining the program, fresh off the steps of the Capitol, fresh off her impeachment filing against Merrick Garland, the worst attorney general in American history, a sniveling, weak goon, an absolute bootlicker. Lucky for us, we have God on our side, and ladies and gentlemen, we are here to win. Go forth into the weekend. Have a beautiful weekend. Do the thing that they're the most angry about. Spend time with your family. Spend time with your kids. Spend time with your loved ones. Throw the football around. It's football season soon. Throw the football around the front yard. Enjoy your family. I know I am going to. Be happy. Be joyous. We're the happy ones. They're miserable. That means that we win. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a team and a nation of winners. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. My name is Benny Johnson. This has been The Benny Show.